Hello and welcome back. Back with another delayed review, but let's not get preoccupied with that and just get on to the subject at hand. That being Assassin's Creed Mirage, the most recent instalment of the Assassin's Creed franchise, as long as we don't acknowledge the most recent game that we don't like to talk about. Which weirdly enough started development as the DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, before they decided to just release it as its own game, and Ubisoft decided to market it as a return to form, that being of the assassination and sneaking variety, after a long cede to the more recent games being more focused on being, well, open world action RPG sort of games. So let's have a look at it and see if it achieved its goal. The game is weirdly enough a prequel to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where you play as Bayek, the assassin from Valhalla before he turns out to be the twist villain. He starts out as an Aladdin-esque petty street thief who is also a bit of a fanboy of the Hidden Ones, the group that would later become the Assassins. He's also suffering from some strange nightmares. One day he comes up with the brilliant idea of getting the Hidden Ones' attention by stealing an artifact that they're looking for that belongs to the Abbasid Caliph. This attempted heist goes horribly wrong and Bayek accidentally gets the Abbasid Caliph killed. He's then chased down, barely escaping the authorities before being rescued by the Hidden Ones who train him. The Hidden Ones then send him to Baghdad to take out members of the Order who are secretly controlling the city, as well as helping a rebel leader named Ali who is trying to overthrow the Caliphate. After many twists, turns and assassinations, Bayek manages to find and confront the leader of the Order, which turns out to be the deceased Caliph's favourite wife. She implies that Bayek is more than just a regular person, and the truth to his nature could be found underneath the Hidden One's base, which the Order have been trying to get to. He is then assassinated by Bayek's mentor, and Bayek heads back to the Hidden One base to slay the Order's goons that were sent there, as well as to confront and defeat his former mentor to get into the secret chamber. Inside said chamber is an ancient Isu ruin, which there is revealed what Bayek's true nature is, which you probably would have already known if you played through Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Turns out Bayek is a reincarnation of one of the Isu. The nightmares he has been having are just fragmented and distorted memories from his past. As the ancient Isu site that he now found himself in was a place where he was imprisoned and tortured in his previous life. Bayek then emerges from the ruins with his memories fully restored, setting up his role in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The gameplay takes the engine and mechanics of the more recent titles and streamlines and strips them back to fit more in line with the older games. The game world consists of one major location, that being Baghdad, with a few bits of deserts and small towns scattered around, which kind of makes sense as this game did start out as a DLC. Sneaking up on your opponents and taking them out stealthily is your primary means of attack, although the AI of the enemies aren't exactly the brightest. You also have a basic combat system if you get into fights, which consists of a light attack, heavy attack, block and dodge, with a block helping to deflect blows from regular attacks, and the dodge being useful to get out of the way of heavy attacks that are too powerful to block. You also have a stamina meter that can quickly drain if you keep spamming the dodge button, and a health meter which you can replenish by grabbing random plants scattered about. You also gain additional bits of gear that can help you out that you can also upgrade with additional abilities, including throwing, knives, sleep, darts, smoke bombs and trip mines. You also have several skill trees which you can unlock not by levelling up, but instead by completing certain objectives. You can also find weapons and outfits with their own special abilities, such as decreasing your maximum health in exchange for increased damage. There are also some side quests, a majority of which you can get from the Hidden One bureaus, but you can also find some ones by talking to specific people within Baghdad. Two of the things the game that's brought back from the older games are the notoriety system, where if you get caught the guards will be on more high alert, which you can decrease by tearing down wanted posters or bribing public officials, and the second being stealing from random people within the overworld. One of the more notable gimmicks that this game has added is the token system, where you can gain them by either completing certain objectives or stealing them from random people. And you can use them to either get information out of people, bribe public officials, convince mercenaries and others to distract the guards for you, or even just give them to merchants to get discounts. One divisive new ability that's been given is Bayek's focus mode, where you can slow down time and take out multiple enemies by teleporting around. Which sounds overpowered, and probably is, but personally I only managed to use it once when it was introduced and then just forgot how to do it. Typical me, I suppose. And speaking of questionable decisions, let's talk about the cash shop, where once again you can pay with your own money to get weapons, outfits and items that not only will clash with the game's aesthetic, but in some cases can give you overpowered weapons and items that break the game. Yippee! Pay to win! The graphics are pretty good, but they haven't really improved that much from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which again kind of makes sense, same engine. The environments and architecture are pretty impressive, especially in Baghdad, although I'm not quite sure how accurate it actually is to 9th century Baghdad. As you know, the whole city was destroyed by the Mongols, there's literally nothing left of it, and all we really have to go off to get an image of what it might have looked like is a handful of written accounts that were made around about the time it was around. Still, I feel it does a pretty good job capturing the feel and idea of the great city of the Islamic Golden Age. The character models, on the other hand, can be a bit hit or miss. Sometimes they look reasonably good, and other times they're just barely above PS3 quality. And now it's time for the music. Thank you. The game has a nice Middle Eastern vibe. I can envision the desert sounds blowing, has a nice background effect. It also has an escalating soundtrack with the inclusion of vocals and drumming to really give a sense of urgency. There's also songs reminiscent of the calls to prayer that I can envision echoing around the streets of Baghdad. It uses a mixture of traditional instruments and instrumentation likes, along with more modern technical electronic sounds that still sort of fit the atmosphere, and overall fits the Middle Eastern model of Macromat. I have no idea what you said, but sounds very educated. Why thanks, I've been studying. Anyway, on to my final thoughts. This game seems to be pretty divisive, as on one hand I've heard people love and praise it for its return to form, and others have spoke their disdain towards it, viewing it as misleading, soulless, and lacking in difficulty, skill and a genuine feel of the original games, while correcting none of the actual issues that the more recent games have had. Personally, I'm somewhere in the middle, as while I can see the issues and shortcomings of the game, I at least appreciated that it tried to bring back the series to its roots, and is probably as close to those older games as it can get given the engine, the shift in direction mid-development, as well as the inevitable compromises that had to be made to appease the higher-ups. Personally, I think the game's alright, a step in the right direction, and the first game in a while I can definitively call an Assassin's Creed game. Personally, I think if they kept going in this direction and improving on what this game did, then maybe they could have a chance at recapturing the magic of the original games. Although looking at what happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I guess Ubisoft just decided to throw that opportunity right out the window. Overall, Assassin's Creed Mirage, you were so almost there. Well, that's all from me. See you guys next time.